Alright guys, welcome back to MLG Winter Championships. And I don't know if the overlays are correct, so hopefully they are. I did them all by myself last second, but this is the last series of the day. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that it's going to be EG Puma versus Socke from Alternate Attack. Now guys, it's been a long day. I've been here since 10:30 a.m. basically, so it's basically been 11 hours of straight casting and talking and preparation, but I am having such a good time. I apologize if some of the things I say sometimes don't make sense. Trust me, it makes sense in my head, but as I come out, after talking for so long, I just kind of forget sometimes of what I'm saying just because of the length of how long I've been staring at a screen. So if you let me, just correct me, and I'll definitely go back and retrace what I said, because as long I may not say the right things, my heart's in the right place. So definitely know that I do my best to provide a great cast, and right now we're just going to go ahead and finish strong. Don't worry, my energy level is still at a very high level despite me casting all day, and I'm really excited to bring Puma versus Socke to you guys. And looks like we're getting ready to go in just a second. And here we go. So we're going to start the game immediately. I'm going to go ahead and throw up the scoreboard. Hopefully it's correct. If not, I'm going to have to go ahead and fix the colors. Puma versus Socke. Puma is actually blue, so I'm going to go have to fix that real quick. Socke is red. Puma is blue. 0-0. Losers round 2. That is actually a very good point to make, just because this is actually a loser's bracket, so it's basically a win or go home moment for both of these players. And let's go ahead and kick it off here. So here in the bottom left we have EG's Puma. Puma, of course, the Terran that is acquired from Team TSL, and actually a pretty controversial transaction. For those of you who may have not been watching StarCraft that long, Puma was from Brood War and was a very sick Terran. In fact, Artosis, Dan Stankoski, was always saying how Puma has been a sick player, just never really appreciated. And he was just one of these players that whenever he walked in a room, he said Puma is sick, he's going to dominate. And no surprise, because he's been doing super well. Of course, the champion of NASL Season 1 and 2, hopefully can make a strong run here in MLG. His tournament is not over yet, but his back is up against the wall against this player. His name is Socke, or Socke, or Saki, or Socke, whatever you want to call it, but in German it's just Socke. And he is from Team Alternate Attack, the German player, and he, of course, is a very solid Protoss player. Now keep in mind, guys, pool play is no longer equivalent, and open brackets are completely done. So once again, this is the championship losers bracket, so whoever loses at this point basically is eliminated from the tournament altogether. We've heard players like Idra already eliminated. We did see the Oxlav already eliminated in the round 1 of the losers bracket. So some big names are already starting to drop off here as some of the weekends are coming to a close for our players. Now we do see that Socke is opening up pretty standard. He's scouting actually pretty early, and it is a 2-player map. Antigua Shipyards, your forced diagonal cross spawns. For many people who do not play the MLG or GSL versions of the map, it is forced spawn directly across from your opponent. Versus on ladder, sometimes you might spawn in any 4 of the positions, and as a result, it changes a lot of dynamics. But Antigua Shipyards, a map that actually sees a lot of dynamics, because you can kind of do like a 2-base aggression because of how easy it is to defend your natural from your ramp, because you can kind of see how there's a large surface area where you can kind of exploit as units are moving up your ramp. You can kind of get some added damage, so you do have a good defender's advantage for both races. But at the same time, grabbing 3rd base is really easy. So you see, you know, Protoss players like Start to Parting on this map just absolutely love rushing for a fast 3rd. As you see other Terran players like MVP, MMA, although MVP not so much anymore, but going for fast 3rds as well. So we'll have to find out how much aggressive macro play we'll see, or if there's going to be any macro play whatsoever, because again, it's the last game of the night. These players have been playing since 11 in the morning, and fatigue is now a very big part of the equation as the day has been going on. Now, enough about background about the map. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what the possibilities are based off the build orders. We see Socke did end up skipping first Zealot. He does have 21 probes because he's been spending his Chrono Boost on his Nexus, and as such, he is getting his 1-gate fast expand. Of course, Puma sees everything with his all-seeing SCV, knows exactly what to expect. He's also getting his own command center as well, and for the most part, he's just going to transition very nicely. Beautiful decision here just to get more barracks up. And of course, the whole reason why is because he doesn't really have gas. He's going to double gas here and get up his tech. A big question to consider is whether or not Puma's going to get combat shields, or is he going to get stim right after with his first gas, or will he even skip that altogether, go for reactor, and get some early engineering bay upgrades? We've seen all kinds of openings from Terrans this weekend. Marine King kind of favoring that early stim, while other players, I'm trying to think, like Hart goes for the combat shield. So we'll see all kinds of TVP this weekend, but hopefully we can see great play out of Puma. Puma, of course, we're known for his TVP. In fact, his NASL season championship wins have been against Protosses like MC and Hero from Team Liquid. And those are no easy Protosses to defeat at all. Now Puma is playing safe. He has one bunker. Probably would consider making another one if he saw double gas. Some Terrans, if you're kind of deciding whether or not to make one or two bunkers, it depends on what you scout. He scouted the fast expand, so he knows the aggression option from Socke is limited for the next couple of minutes. There's no way he can be doing anything crazy. So he knows that he only needs one bunker just to be extra safe for now while Puma gets up his economy. He is actually using his gas to actually go up to factory immediately, but it looks like he's going to go for Stim. Stim is the early upgrade of choice here for Puma, which does mean he's going to be able to seize map control back around whenever Stim finishes, which is about 3 minutes in the game time. So he will be able to seize back map control, and Stalkers won't be able to really dominate because you can catch units very easily. Socke looks like the way he's gearing up is taking a fast third. Now, we're talking earlier about how Protosses take fast third on Antigua, and the reason why it's also very good specifically, because mid-game, you see how open this middle is. Charge lots are absolutely nasty on this map. And when I mean nasty, I mean it is absolutely disgusting how effective they can be, especially if you can utilize the wide ramps, because Zealots can just go through and there's no real small chokes you can force them unless you want to set up your own things with bunkers and turrets to the middle of the map. So it's a very, very effective way to play. Gateway style is very prevalent on Antigua shipyards, and that's why you see fast thirds, high amount of gateways, and usually a huge amount of upgrades go for Protoss. But at the same time, anything is possible for Socke. I've seen him go for the craziest mixture and composition of units, and I would not be surprised to see him go for something crazy as well. Puma, in the meantime, he's pretty much going for anything standard. 3 barracks as well as a reactor starport. No doubt going to get those 9-minute medevacs out onto the field so he can control. Now, Puma is a big tempo player. Loves getting his drops in, dissecting his Protoss opponent, pulling his units back and forth, killing probes, and taking small advantages. And as a result, start getting up in the worker count. So we'll have to see whether or not he chooses to do that. As right now, Socke looks like he's planning a proxy pylon. Going to see if he can keep his Terran opponent a little bit accountable with some pseudo pressure. Of course, Puma does not know anything that's going on. In fact, he's playing very, very blind, as the factory is the only source of scouting right now. Now, Socke is putting on some pressure here. He does have an assortment of gateways. He's got 6 exactly, and he can try to see if he can go aggressive, but ultimately he can't really break Puma. Puma's expecting some kind of aggression, but actually he's going to see a lot of Stalker extensions, but no Zealots, meaning your minerals are somewhere, but we do see the first force fields here from Socke. Now, Socke, he can't actually kill Puma here if Puma's careful. If he brings his SCVs, he'll be okay, and here's the SCVs, but will he actually be able to get off the appropriate force fields? He is going to get one bunker and backs off immediately, does not want to overcommit, and Socke, just like that, the whole ploy of this is that his third is secure. If you put on the aggression, they can't actually do anything.
Hi, Froden.
Hi, Dumba.
So, yeah, sorry to leave you hanging there. Actually, was at the other side of the venue. You can see now, getting caught up. I see we're in game 1, and obviously, right now, Socke pushing the issue against Puma. Guardian Shield Pop moving in here. SCVs segmented here. Socke looking pretty fierce at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Socke, he doesn't really have that many upgrades. In fact, he's just going for pure gateway count. And again, this is just a flex of the muscle, just to make sure that Terran is not going to be moving out of his base. Because normally Puma would love to drop around now. He would love to be pushing across and do multi-pronged pressure. And now Puma floated his factory and discovered the third. So more importantly, Puma knows, man, Socke had me duped. And at this point, you can expect Puma to try to even out the things a little bit. Does not want to fall behind economically because during this whole time, Socke's been actually probing 60 to 42.
Wow. So yeah, unit counting station tells the tale there. And you know, we've talked a lot about the Socke just in terms of having to struggle so much in these tournaments. But you know, I gotta say, if definitely can get a win here over Puma, that's a confidence booster, no doubt. But Puma very, very tough in his TVP, as you know from the great series against MC. Guardian Shield Pop once again. Stalkers moving in, picking off a medevac there. Another Guardian Shield force field's going down. Not the greatest, but getting the job done, Froden.
Yeah, and that's kind of actually the thing about force fields in general. It's usually the quicker you can get them off, the better, because Socke had a great very small opportunity to trap them, but was not able to place them fast enough. Now this drop from Puma is trying to do some considerable damage to the third economy here from Socke, but Socke's still moving out here to the natural, and he's separating his Stalkers from the rest of his sentries and zealots. We're going to see how much he's going to actually push in, but for now, Puma's still doing a great job harassing and trying to see if he can take out this bottom, but Socke is moving up his natural, and the Guardian Shield does go up as well as some force fields. No bunkers here from Puma, but the force fields actually help, as Puma is now able to basically sit back. He's still killing probes at the third though, but the most important thing is that Socke, he forced to cancel on the third, and now Puma is still on 2 base economy here.
Absolutely, you can see employing that drop play. The Zealots going to work on those Marines currently. And you can see where he positioned them though, very hard to kill. Combat shield obviously making that unit a lot more robust, Froden.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, at this point Puma, he's just, again, he's behind economically, but he's been pretty efficient with his units. Again, falling behind by the worker count, 51 to 66, but the one thing that Puma had for a while was tech advantage, but that gap is slowly closing as well, as we do see good upgrades. +2/+2 is on the way, as well as a blink. So for the most part, Socke is sitting very, very nice for a very good mid-game composition. The question is, will Puma be able to do enough damage here to justify him sitting back on 2 base this long?
Well, we know against Protoss in particular, he can stretch out a 1 base build for as long as anybody else. Players like StarTale Rainbow also tend to like this style a lot better against Protoss, where they get everything they can out of 1 base. But essentially, you're right. I mean, Socke is a much better Protoss, much more comfortable off the third base. Today we saw him constantly get denied. Now that he's got that third up here, he's in a much better position to deal with Puma. Blink almost complete here. Concussive Shell almost complete for Puma. And you can see double forge upgrades. Also, Templar Archives about to finish.
Yeah, so with the Templar Archives, basically, Puma becomes undroppable because he has Blink, he has the ability to cut off medevacs, and he also has Templar for feedback, in addition to add some immediate burst damage on those medevacs. So right now, Puma, more concerned about getting up his third base as well. Wants to be able to catch up there. As you can tell, he's already falling behind in supply purely because of those 6 gases that Protoss is able to acquire. And as a result, Puma, the one thing he does have though is map control, and that's a pretty big thing. As Socke right now, still trying to power up, get his units to full strength here, waiting for charge, but +2/+2 has finished. And that's a pretty considerable upgrade just to get as well, because right now Puma is still on 0-1.
Yeah, absolutely. Froden, you know, you drop so many knowledge bombs, it's hard to keep track. As right now we're just
I just noticed, I'm so sorry.
It's
I was
fine.
sitting in
No. Actually, my back was giving me a bit of problems. Anyways, I was standing over, hunched over, actually, the back of Froden, focused on this game. I got my nerd hunch in full effect. But you can see, really, right now, Medevac's just parked outside, far enough away from Socke that he cannot pose a threat to it. Into the center of the map goes Puma, as he has taken his third as well.
Yeah, and
Mobius about to finish up, and this is an upgrade that we've seen a lot in this particular MLG. Adding Ghost to the mix versus Protoss, almost always a good decision, as they counter just about every unit, right? Getting off clutch EMPs has become every bit as important as getting off good force fields for Protoss. So sort of the antithesis in terms of that's what you need to do as Terran to go ahead and inflict enough damage. 1 cannon there to delay. I'd like to see that also out from Socke.
Wow.
Socke coming in here and trying to deal with this force out of Puma.
But Puma's actually going to move across the center of the map now. He does know that the majority of the Stalkers are away from the units. He's going to try to see if he can engage, but these zealots are at +2/+2, and that's going to be very, very hard for these Marauders to engage. They do have +2 weapons, but again, they don't have that much armor, so they do take a lot more considerable damage. Oh, Socke and Stalkers are caught out of position, and Puma trying to see if he can push them away. And all of a sudden, you see that Socke trying to run to his Zealots for comfort and protection, as they are a controller that they can cry to whenever the Stalkers are in trouble.
Comfort and protection, well put, Froden. As you can see, all those Zealots in tow right now. Puma really looking like he's getting beat up. If these were 2 boxers in the ring, man, he'd be a little bit against the ropes at this point. But
good
able to bounce back out of that, and you know, goes on the field. So we have to see if he's able to get enough ground units to support those Colossus. Cannot lose those 2 Colossus, Froden.
Yeah, and the big thing is that he scanned, good EMPs here, and make sure to split the units as well. Puma with a good position here, but he doesn't have anything to directly confront the Colossus, as there's just too many Zealots with strong DPS pushing Puma back, acting as if there are mobile force fields, making sure that they can never get within range to strike the Colossi, and that is why you need Vikings, or at least some form of way to deal with the Colossus from a long range, just because, again, Socke has that upgrade advantage, +3/+3 momentarily.
Oh, look at this. Also has a pylon queued up here, wants to go ahead, and that shows that wants to continue aggression towards the base of Puma. More upgrades about to finish. Archon being morphed in as well. Do I see Cloak?
Yeah, for his Ghost.
Yep,
He's going to be
very,
very strong just to be able to get some good EMPs. But, you know, Puma, doesn't have a lot of units. Normally, it's just, even if you don't land the greatest amount of EMPs, you can kind of cut with a huge ball of Marines and Marauders, but he doesn't actually have that as well.
Oh, and look at this, too. Extended Thermal Lance about to finish. We're 20 minutes in, actually, so that's getting done finally. And that'll make a huge difference here for Socke.
I mean, this is pretty cool because Socke set this up as a tech switch. Originally he went Templars, and now he's setting up Colossus before Terran's prepared with Vikings. Puma only has one Viking out here in the mix for Colossus. Socke has a huge supply advantage. Zealots are pushing in here, and Puma might run out of options. He's pulling his SCVs, but the Zealots just will not die, and it looks like Colossi are just going to absolutely clean up everything here. Puma completely backed into his natural ramp as you see the power of Macro Protoss in full effect. Socke showing why he's a Protoss to be feared, as right now Puma looks like he will have a GG. And great play there out of Puma, as Socke will have to take game number 1.
Right. Broden's got a really big brain. To readjust my headset here. So yeah,
that's one way to put it.
No doubt. So Socke there, as you can see, as Froden said, demonstrating the power of the Macro Protoss. And I love the fact that he went ahead and he Tarantino'd it, where you see the ending first, but it's actually at the beginning. So he actually did a little Tarantino build order there in terms of going with the later Colossus. Starting off, I'm assuming then, since I missed the first half of the game there, with going into Templar Tech first, you were saying?
Yeah, he went into Templar Tech first. He went fast 3 bases, massive amount of gateways, lots of upgrades like double forge, Templar, and then when he got Ghost out, he said, I have Colossi. So, yeah.
Okay. So there you go, there you have it. So that one is in the books. Socke
takes game number 1. This is we're saying winner.